Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of One Life with your host, me, Wintertooth100, and in today's episode, we are going to start on this village. But before we can start on it, I'm still collecting wool from the sheep, so we're working on them a little bit. I need to do a 1-hour mining session because I need to find 6 more diamonds to pay for the amount of barrier blocks we used in the water. So I need to find some diamonds. And I also need to run to the desert and get some more sand, so I'm going to go back to the desert, which is 1,000 or 2,000 blocks over my shoulders that way where the sun is setting. So I'm going to go collect all those materials real quick, and then we're going to get started together, and we're going to do some terraforming in this place, and we're going to lay down the foundations of several of the houses and possibly the pub and the inn. Definitely the inn because it's very simple, but we might do something special for the pub because I don't think I've ever built a specific pub dedicated thing before. Like every time I've done any kind of bar or anything, it's always been a part of the inn. But I think we're going to have something very special just for the pub. So let me go get those materials and we'll meet right back here. Just a quick progress update. I have collected a whole shulker box worth of sand, and now I'm just exploring this desert for desert temples. Inside this desert temple, I found our second notch apple, so that's pretty exciting. I had to share with you guys, and I'm going to continue searching this desert for more temples, just in case we find more goodies like that. Alright, he's too far away to transfer, but we have a mending villager. Let's climb up there so we can show you guys. Hopefully get that back. It's a little expensive. 20 emeralds, but since there's a bunch of villagers around, I mean, we could just do some trading and get these emeralds. But we found ourselves a mending villager finally. So I'm gonna write down the coordinates, and if we ever decide we need extra mending, we know exactly where to come now. Whew, that was both lucky and unlucky. I was changing my vision so I could look at you guys, and a creeper blew up behind me. Thankfully he didn't kill me, obviously, but that sure scared me. My heart's going. But we are getting lucky today. Look at this, 2 enchanted notch apples. Like, man, today is my day. I need to get out of here though. Creepers are starting to not like my presence, and you know what? I think having a total of 3 notch apples is probably good. They're so rare that, you know what? I'll probably never use any of them. So, really, what's the point of having them? There is a village over here though that I want to check out, just in case we get a cheaper mending villager. And we're here. Alright, I'm gonna look around. If there's nothing here, then I'm probably just gonna go to the nether and collect as much gravel as I possibly can. So you guys will probably, statistically speaking, just see me back at the base. I'm out of food, so this might be a little dangerous. But I figured since I was in the nether still and I have to do a mining session, I already had 1 skull. Well, now I have 2. And I might be coming up on 3 soon. I cleared out a ton of space here, and I slabbed the upper halves of these areas. So basically I just run down this long hole and then come check to see if there's any wither skeletons, and if there is, I run back to this corner where they can't reach me and I kill them, and I just rinse and repeat until I'm gonna have the 3rd skull. So I'm gonna time it. It's 1:44 p.m. right now for me. Let's see how long it takes me to get the last skull. That was the weirdest thing. So I came up here to repair all my gear and my tools. My pants weren't repairing. They were the last piece of armor I was wearing. I was holding nothing in my hand, so there was no mending competing for this to mend. And so I relogged, and nothing. They were 3 points down, which I know is not a lot, but they weren't mending. That was the problem. They weren't mending. So I took them off, and the second I clicked them and they're in my hand like this, they instantly repaired themselves, and I think they're fine now. But I've been sitting up here for a little while. You can see my level's quite high now, but they weren't healing, so that was really weird. Progress report. I have a full box of gravel, a full box of sand, which I believe is actually in the ender chest. I got my health back up. I eating all of my apples and a couple of the golden apples, not the enchanted ones, just the normal golden apples. So I was able to get my health back up and my hunger a little bit. Well, it was all the way up, but it went back down because it healed me. I wasn't very smart about my golden apples. I forgot that they give you like a restoration or whatever. So my hearts were like mending before my hunger was full, but I ate them back to back, just like one right after the other. So like I totally wasted the amount of time that I could have been regenerating the hearts from the first apple because I ate the second one so quickly. But now I have 3 wither skulls, so I am going to summon the wither. So the very next clip we're gonna see is the wither fight. So wish me luck. So using this nifty little website I found, I literally just typed in nether chords wither killing or wither killer, and the very first site that popped up lets you type in your current coordinates for the nether, and then it will give you coordinates at the bottom telling you where the nearest bedrock formation is. Not the Y height, obviously, because bedrock's always at the top, but the nearest like 3x3 area with the most amount of bedrock in its proximity. And here we are, we're just missing the 3, but it's pretty nice. It was a really good website. I'm not going to link it because it's super easy to find. Like say you just type in nether chords wither killer and it'll come up. It'll be the very first thing you find. But it sure as heck saves you a lot of trouble. Back here, way down that way, is the top of my, you can kind of see the stone there. It's the top of my ladder going up above the bedrock. And I mined out a lot of area there before I was thinking, you know, somebody's probably found a way to do this a lot easier. And I was right, somebody definitely created something that's a lot easier. So I'm gonna deck this place out with obsidian, and hopefully that will minimize the amount of damage his attack will do to the surrounding areas, because last time I built one of these, his attack could still get out and hit you and break blocks. And maybe I just did it wrong because I did it without the help of any sight, but I'm not taking any chances with this one. Alright, I think we're all set. This is scary because it's not a perfect 3x3. The site does say, on my cord you see there it says -31, 121, 0 on the looking at. It's near the bottom on the left hand side. The chords do say -31 and 0, so we're gonna try that. Let me just double check everything first. Oh my goodness, what are the odds? So here we are, right? It says -31 by 0, and as I was reading that to you guys, I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Like, why does that not sound right? Look at this. I double checked, like I said I was going to. It's 0 by -31, and look at that. There is a perfect 3x3. I am so lucky that I decided to double check that. So we're gonna use this one instead, and I'm gonna prep this room instead. Oh man, could you imagine? That thing wouldn't have trapped him, and then he'd be loose, and I'm totally not prepared to actually fight him. I'm just trying to get him to die quickly. Oh boy, that could have been really, really, really bad. So, like I said, we're gonna clear this out and line this with some bedrock, or I did it again, not bedrock, obsidian, and get this room all prepped. Alright, I'm feeling a lot more confident in this one, so let's give this a whirl. 1, 2, and of course, yes, I'm going to back way up, just in case. I want to be able to have a head start to be able to run away. It should blow up. Hopefully it doesn't take any blocks with him. Oh, he's loud. Oh yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah, he's gonna die super easy. This is exactly what we wanted. This was not planned for today either, it felt right. It just felt right. Yeah, beautiful. I was kind of hoping he'd blow all those blocks up, but yeah, whatever. Totally don't even care. But I am going to grab some of these. I thought I threw them all out, but I'm kind of glad I didn't. There, hide up that mistake, that accident. But now we have our nether star, which means we're gonna have our beacon very soon. And I'm actually gonna go back up to the gold farm and grab all the gold there and see how far away we are from grabbing a beacon. See? Told you I was just mining all over the place. Let's climb up here. Let's see how much gold / iron I actually already have. Grab my box of butter. Yeah, we need a little bit more gold. I have been AFKing up there for a little bit. Well, not really. It doesn't take that long to repair your tools. But I'm almost there with the gold, so let's just see if I can't finish it up. Double check. This is silk touch. Ooh, not quite enough. It's going to put us at 2 stacks and 21 blocks. We need 36 blocks. So I'm going to AFK for a little bit here. Alright, as you can see, we gained a bunch of levels. And I cut down a ton of trees. So we have plenty of wood for our houses, but I think we need to go through and do some terraforming so we have a proper area. See, we got just like some random pools here, like these harsh edges. Like, I think we need to come through and do a little bit of terraforming, round out some of these areas, cover up some holes, you know, just prep the area to have some houses built on top of it. So I think I'm gonna break out the camera and we are going to do a third-person little time lapse. I'm just gonna run around and clear this place up a little bit. Alright, and with the terraforming complete, we are going to start placing in our houses, but I wanted to show this first. I didn't know that we were so close to one of these guys, little zombie dude. Inside the double chest we had 3 golden apples, no notch apples, but I think we already got enough of those to probably last us a long time. With the new update coming at 1.13, literally just around the corner. By the time this video goes up, it'll probably actually be out. We'll have custom crafting recipes down. So I was thinking, well, we'll be able to. My custom crafting recipe includes a custom crafting recipe of the notch apple, which is the old original crafting recipe. All of the blocks of gold. But this zombie spawner down here got me thinking that we need to put a house up here and make that a part of the basement. Like, this villager has some deep dark secrets, or maybe he's like some kind of scientist or something and he's experimenting on the undead. I really like that we have this here. Like, this really lends itself to some awesome like background story. Just make sure I know where the center of that is. And we're gonna come through, we're gonna put the frames of all the houses in. It's actually quite easy. I almost always build in the exact same style, so there's going to be no difference with that. But I do want to make sure I'm on top of this for us to be able to work that into the basement into a proper way. I'm thinking this will be an interior access basement. That way this dude can hide it a lot easier. But we're going to want to make sure I'm a good distance away from it. That way our walls don't just sit on top of it. But basically I just come through and I always space these 3 blocks apart. You'll notice this with my Building Better with Bears series, that I pretty much always place my beams 3 blocks apart, and I put my wall 1 block depth in. So I just come through and I make a random frame, which is what I'm going to do with this. Just a random frame. If this guy's a scientist, he's probably going to have a slightly larger house than what the rest of these are going to be. I imagine he can probably afford it. Most scientists or people into science back in those times usually were better off than others. So this one will be here. And let's see. I think it'd be neat if this one has some kind of tower in the back. So let's come in again. And we'll come back out. And we'll just have a little bit of a... Let's make this one unique. Let's do a 5 spacer. So we should have 5 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. So if you want to change from 3s, I typically always stay on the odd numbers. So we're going to do 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just so this little back area can have its symmetry. Which means that, there we go, we got a perfect little 5x5 here. That lends itself pretty well to a tower. But then you can see we're no longer lined up with this. So I believe if we just add a diagonal bit, we can fix that. I'm just guessing, but let's see, 3. We have a weird section right here. This could probably be like the back door to like the backyard area. So, you know, that's basically how I plot all my things down, is I just make sure that I maintain this one set of rules. I work on odd numbers, make sure I build it large enough to give myself depth, and that's how the majority of my houses kind of work out. Then I just kind of keep it random. I try to stay away from doing squares as much as possible, and try to add in some extra strange shapes. That does make the roofs a little bit more challenging sometimes, but yeah, it's fine. That's actually quite fine. I'm okay with that. So now we got a house on the hill. That's great. It's overlooking the cemetery, so I really like the symmetry there. Like the scientist also is so close to the cemetery. But we probably should have like a little house back here. So come back here. We'll just start anywhere. Right there seems good. So do the 3-block trick, and we'll just place a few of them down. And if you want to go for like to do things in a more streamlined way, you could do exactly as I'm doing. First we'll make the generic cookie cutter shape. So this is the generic one. This is the shape of house that I learned how to build, and that's what I built for probably at least a year. Is 4 logs in one direction, 3 in another, following the same 3-block gap between them to give us this rectangle. If you want, that's a great place to start. All you have to do is just add some details to it. Like, now I don't need this center beam anymore. I could just leave it like that and have a 5-block gap here. Guess what's gonna go here now? A grand fireplace. Like that's just going. I don't want to get too fancy. This is a smaller village after all, but it's really easy to change the shapes of your builds just by adding a few extra blocks. Like there, I just brought out an extra beam on either side, continued the same 3-block gap. Now we have like an official like entranceway. Like this is gonna look much more grand than just having a door in the middle of your house. Like this will be dedicated. It'll come up and have its own separate roof from the main roof. Like this is the dedicated coming in area. Like a foyer, yeah, in houses, the mud room where you kick off your boots and get all that crap off of you before you like enter the house. See, it's a small village. We don't have to get any fancier than that. They're already gonna have a ridiculous fireplace, probably more than what is necessary. I want the feeling of these being kind of spaced apart, so I like the spacing of those. So we're gonna want to come a good ways out this way. So again, I want to maintain. I think this is a village, but it's not a very big village. It's just spaced apart, which gives it the illusion of being big. Let's do one right here. I'm not really thinking about what these sections are going to be. Like over there, I put a weird shape in, and I knew right away it was going to be a fireplace. But that's not what I do. I'm not thinking about what's going to be what in the house. I'm just trying to think of how can I make this house have a unique shape, but in such a way that it's going to connect to the other side. It's like drawing a big circle, kind of. But I need to make sure that the circle makes sense and that it's going to connect up right. And see, like, so that's 3, so that's 4. So we have this weird corner here. And this is what I'm trying to avoid, really, is like this kind of strangeness. Like, how can I fix that? I think I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to bring that in. And then we'll have a weird dip right here too, which kind of mirrors the other side right there. In a weird way, it mirrors it. This is actually going to be a very large house. That'll probably be our inn. And that will, like, we got our rich house over there, and who knows what that's going to be over there. But if that's our inn, then that really cuts us down to only 2 of the houses are big. So then we can go back to standard scale. I also want to put a pub out here somewhere and a stable. If that's going to be the bridge into this place, I don't think it's going to be the bridge into this place because it leads right to my farmhouse. But that's another thing we want to think about, is what will be the main roadway into this place. That's a harder to answer question. I'm basically just gonna have to guess and hope something works out. Okay, I had to look into my notes. Dallery Village, D-A-L-R-Y, Dallery. This is going to be Dallery Village, or the Village of Dallery, one of the two. But with a title like that, with a name like that, Dallery Village? What's Dallery? Like, you don't call your hometown, like, X town. You just don't do that, like, because that's its name, so you're already referring to it by its name. To call this Dallery Village, or the Village of Dallery, implies that there's a real other place called that real title is Dallery. So, I'm not sure if, like, maybe this will be the kingdom of Dallery, and Dallery will have, like, Dallery Castle. And then we could do a castle town somewhere and build a castle there, and that will be, you know, the kingdom of Dallery. And this is just Dallery Village, like the one, like, it's a small nation. I like that. Like, now we're lore building here. It's a small nation of Dallery, really only one village plus the kingdom of Dallery. So we'll probably do like a small scale castle there if it's going to be small. So I'm thinking, now that we're having some time to reflect on it, I like the idea that there's maybe 2, 3 villages. And then we can just name them all different. They all serve different purposes. Like, this could be like a farming one. The Dallery Castle itself would be like the main kingdom. I think I'm going to terraform this away. Alright. So what's that give us a total of? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we could probably get one more. Probably shouldn't do the next one. I think we're going to do like a horse stable and a dedicated pub, but I'll have to work out those shapes some other time, probably in the next episode. But that's basically how I get the shapes of my houses down. Not to be so back and forth in my topic of choice, but yeah. So we got a few houses plotted out. We know where they're going to go. We got the rough shapes of them. I know that we're going to be still doing a pub and a horse stable, so there's still 2 more to do, but I think in the next episode we're going to focus on bringing these up and how I connect up the roofs and all that fun stuff. It's quite easy. Yeah. I don't know them block for block off the top of my head right now, nor do I have these actually built or plotted anywhere else to reference, but because I follow the same type of building process, they're all going to be built in the same similar fashion, which makes them super easy to build. And really the way you get all your random shape is just by putting it into the floor plan here. And if you want to make your places bigger, you just make the floor plan bigger and they'll come together. It's surprisingly easy. Holy moly, guys, look at the time. It has been almost 25 minutes. Jeez, we're gonna have to end this episode. We're over my 20-minute limit. Wow, I could just talk all day about building. So I won't. Instead, I'm gonna go. I will see you guys in the next episode. Leave a like if you like, subscribe if you haven't, share with your friends, and I will see you guys in the next one.